As you begin changing your thinking, start immediately to change your behavior. Begin to act the part of the person you would like to become. Take action on your behavior. Too many people want to feel. Then take action. This never works. John Maxwell. The situation that we are facing here in Mexico is unacceptable. We are going through a process of crime, corruption, pursuit of power, and fear. I'm going to speak about all these points that I'm referring to, and I'm going to explain why this is not possible and why this has to change. First, let's start with this important issue that is affecting every citizen here in Mexico: crime. Mexico is facing a rough process of crime nowadays. Drug trafficking plays a major role in this issue. Because of drug trafficking, a lot of crimes are being made. Mexico has experienced increasingly high crime rate situations that concern the Mexican populations. Cities like Tijuana, Ciudad Juárez, Veracruz, and Monterrey are the ones that are facing enormous problems. As a fact, 12,903 people had been killed from January to September 2011. I'm Mexican, and I'm really worried about this situation. What can I expect from my country if this continues to happen? What can I expect from Mexico if organized crime basically controls certain regions of my country? I don't know you, but I think that this has to change. Now, let's talk about corruption. Just a fact. Did you know that Mexico is in second place in corruption of all Latin America, just below Haiti? This is embarrassing. Definitely, our government is working in a very mediocre and deficient way. We are supposed to freely choose the people who are going to represent us and rule us. So, what are we doing wrong? Whose fault? Is it our fault because most of the people's votes are bugged and we live in ignorance and mediocrity just waiting for the government to solve our problems? Or does the government has the fault because they are a bunch of ignorant, useless, mediocre, corrupt, greedy, selfish animals that only desire power and money? The only thing that I'm sure of is that this has to change. Now, I will talk about an issue that really concerns me, and I think it also concerns the Mexican citizens: presidential elections and the seeking of power. This July 1st are the Mexican presidential elections. We have three interesting candidates that are hoping to be the next president of the Mexican Republic. First of all, we have Andrés Manuel López Obrador, representing the Mexican political party PRD. Andrés Manuel López Obrador is better known as the love candidate. This human specimen wants to offer employment to 7 million of young people in the first months of its government. He also proposed that military and police forces should stop fighting against organized crime, because a new love atmosphere will be established during his government. Actually, he's a very smart person because he's using the poorest sector of the Mexican population, which represents the 46%, almost 52 million people. So this opportunistic candidate is taking advantage of these people in order to gain some votes. So this 46% of Mexicans doesn't know that they are just being manipulated by this communist candidate, that the only thing he wants is power. Now, let's talk about our second but not less important candidate, Enrique Peña Nieto, representing PRI. This brilliant candidate proposed that if he becomes president, he will improve the producing of Mexican soap operas in order to benefit and favor the woman in Mexico. Talking about crime, Peña Nieto proposed the withdrawal of Mexican army that is fighting against violence, and he instead proposed that civil institutions should fight against dangerous and violent criminals. And finally, our last candidate, Josefina Vázquez Mota, the feminist candidate, which represents PAN. It is not possible that this woman said every single young Mexican should have an iPad or a computer. Does this person is aware of the cost of an iPad? Does she know that if we achieve her goal, Mexico will have to invest the double of what now is invested in Mexican education? I guess this candidate doesn't know so much about mathematics. For this reason, something must be done. We cannot permit this to happen. This has to change. And now, finally, something that we all Mexicans are facing: fear. fear of what's going next, fear of all the violent acts that have been occurring these recent years, fear of all the corruption that has poisoned our government, fear of being shot in all the military confrontations that are fought in our cities, fear of being represented by a person which only goal is money and power, fear of a country that has turned into a battlefield, fear of change. This is not possible. We can't live in a country like this. We deserve something better. But in order to demand a better country, we all should fulfill all of our obligations. Why are we afraid of a country that we all together have created? As John F. Kennedy said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. It's our duty to change this. If we want to change this, we all have to work together in order to make Mexico a better place to live. Thank you.